This is part 2 of our series, I Escaped. Do watch the previous parts for the full story. We also post the full-length videos on our YouTube channel. The flight from India landed in Bangkok, Thailand. The 7 young men from Kerala, filled with the nervous excitement of starting a new life, stepped out into the airport. They had made it. Their dream was about to begin. A friendly agent from the recruitment company was waiting for them, just as promised. He greeted them warmly, collected their documents, and led them to a waiting van. And then came the first lie. The agent told them there was a slight change of plans. The main office in Bangkok was full, so their training would take place at a new branch just for a few weeks, a branch located just across the border in Cambodia. He assured them it was a standard procedure, a beautiful resort-like facility. Their passports were taken for what he called visa stamping and processing. It all sounded so professional, so plausible. They were in a foreign country. They trusted the process. They got in the van. The journey took hours. The modern cityscape of Bangkok faded into rural countryside, then dense jungle. They were driven to a remote, unofficial border crossing. There were no immigration counters, no official stamps. They were simply herded across the border into Cambodia, their legal status now completely erased. The friendly agent handed them over to a new group of men whose faces were not so friendly. The tone shifted. It became cold, hard, and menacing. The new van drove them deeper into a lawless region, a special economic zone known to be controlled by powerful Chinese crime syndicates. Finally, it pulled up to a massive, forbidding complex. This was no office park. This was a fortress. It was surrounded by 15-foot-high walls, topped with coils of razor wire. The gates were patrolled by stone-faced guards armed with automatic weapons. The men were pushed out of the van. The heavy iron gates slammed shut behind them with a sound of absolute finality. Their phones were taken away. Any questions were met with angry shouts or a shove as they were marched into a grim, windowless building and saw the terrified faces of hundreds of other young people from across Asia and Africa sitting in endless rows of computers. The horrifying truth finally crashed down on them. There was no job. There was no training center. There was no hope. They had been trafficked. They were now the property of a criminal gang, and they had just walked into a modern-day slave camp. To learn about the horrific torture and the brutal daily routine they were forced to endure inside the compound, follow for part 3, and subscribe to History and Beyond.